It's glad to know you're still there with us on the show, TMI Monday. And then we continue with our conversation on the outcomes of the just concluded 2023 general elections. Well, when we say concluded, we're talking about the exercise of franchise by the electorate. But we know the process is still ongoing because some results are yet to be announced. But in this segment of the show, we're looking at some of the feedbacks from different states of the Federation as far as the governorship and state houses of assembly election is concerned. Let me thank very especially Comrade Roy Oribabo. Roy is a politician, public affairs analyst, a former senatorial candidate in Edo Central Senatorial District. Thank you for joining us, Roy.
Thank you for having me.
We also have with us in the studio a public affairs commentator, businessman, and an analyst, Osahon Obaraye. Osahon, thank you for joining us on
Thank
the
you so much. Thank you so much.
Right, let's get started. We saw a different shade of involvement in the governorship and state houses of assembly election. And some have said, well, the difference that we have seen in terms of all the indicators as far as the election is concerned, comparing the presidential, National Assembly, and governorship and state house of assembly is largely because of the outcomes of the presidential and National Assembly election. Could you build on that?
Of course, you recall the presidential and the National Assembly people were very concerned. Most Nigerians want to, the intention of the movement is to take Nigeria back from those who have held us back to where we are. But the INEC missed the whole opportunity. They were not able to demonstrate that characteristics that will make us to be proud. Naturally, we were expecting with what INEC told us, and immediately after your vote at the polling unit, after the beavers, the results will just move. Then any part of the world you can assess your results. Consider the volume of money that was invested in this election, over 300 billion naira. If you take it back in dollars, you know what that also means. Therefore, if you look at the kind of investment we've done on INEC compared to what US, also, then you will agree with me that Nigeria will spend too much money on election, yet there is nothing to show for it. As at the level of presidential election, there's nothing to show for it. Because when you look at it, we are expecting things that will make us to be proud, but INEC deviated. Their own guidelines, the rules they set for themselves. It was not the people that said INEC on their own side told the world that we are going to conduct a credible election. We are going to conduct an election that all Nigerians will be proud of. But INEC went to that pool, it gave us what we did not bargain for. It was a departure from what we were expecting. That is the reason why at the state and the governorship election, people were no longer interested. You saw it on the field. People were no longer interested. If I'm going to my village to go and vote, we move on a convoy. In the presidency, over 35 cars, that's how we move. In the last governorship election, in the House of Assembly election, it was only two of us who drove to the village. That will tell you that people were no longer interested. The zeal and the willingness have been dashed by INEC. And what do you have? I wish INEC was able to demonstrate a character that all of us will be proud of. This election could be a turning point for all of us in this country. We were thinking that since INEC, we have invested so much on INEC, what they are giving us will be classic, will be things that we'll be proud of. But sorry, it was what we saw. And that's the reason why people were no longer interested. I saw it. Election is going on, some persons are big kids. Where do you hear that? Does that make any sense to anybody? That you will take a life because of an election. Look at to the level that we start seeing political festivals. In Lagos, for example, a traditional ruler was not declared the Oro celebration. That during an election time, that people can no longer move. He was giving an order that he wants to celebrate a festival that will make non-indigenous, they will not be able to come out. The female will not be able to come out. It was strictly for them. And Lagos, a mega city that all of us, we are comparing to the city like New York. A traditional ruler will come out when Nigeria government have issued an order that between so and so that this is an election. That was the time the traditional rulers, some of them now recall that they have a festival to celebrate at the Napo. And to some of them, that was a political festival, Oro festival to celebrate it. Okay. And if you look at what happened, if we are to use Lagos as a case study in this election, it was indeed a show of shame. I must tell you that.
So, people say, I've heard people say that the desperation of state chief executive is what really brought the conduct of the election to a very, very low point. Would you subscribe to that?
Very well, sir. Very well, very well, very well. Very, very well. Most of the states where the governors have failed, so what they did was that it was time for them to get it either by hook or by crook, no matter. But I think taking Edo State as a case study, first of all, I want to congratulate those that have won and also congratulate our people, because we also celebrated, I think, for confirmation from you that we didn't lose a life in Edo. So to me, it's a welcome development, unlike the previous one, where about 2 or 3 people died. So, because no matter what, life is sacrosanct.
Absolutely.
And so, since we didn't lose life, I'm happy about that. But what also happened was a show of shame. A show of shame where you see it was like a war. If not, the security apparatus that was in Edo was as if there was something that was ongoing. That also made some people scare away. Say, now what they want to come fight. But I think what has come has come, what has gone has gone. What we need to do now is to take the good, add it to the better one, take the bad, add not to forward again. I must also say, INEC have not also just failed the way my brother from Odua has said so. So there is also some good things that also have happened. In the first election, presidential election, I have to do everything within my reach to mobilize INEC from Payne Primary School down to my voting center. The reason was that INEC just had the bus to be moving from, and because of their log baggages and everything, the bus was not able to size accommodate over 3 times. And our people were still waiting. So, okay, since our car is here, security man, let's move.
Yeah.
Unlike this, the last election, I want to shock you, sir, that before 7 o'clock, INEC was already there. We waited until when it was 8:30, vote began. So I also counted that one to say, this is a plus.
In terms of the logistics.
Yes. Now, you failed that first time because I still had about 2 or 3 faces from that first one that was so attended. This one, I said, yes, so that even before 6, the bus started dropping all of them. I said, good. So with this one, next time, since you made 7, make 6 o'clock. There is also an improvement. I think what we also need to be doing now is that what is going on in Edo, I'm sure that my leader, you are not yet aware that to some of us, there are some results that have been called. And so our greatest surprise, what you are hearing again is inconclusive. Virtually about 3 or 6 places. And where I voted, Oredo West, the foot soldiers did not allow, though it still happened, there was still ballot snatching 1 or 2 units around Ward 11 area. But it didn't go that widespread because I'm not sure anybody would want to come to my area not knowing me. So I told them, no, whosoever win, let that person win. We must protect it. This vote is precious. We don't need to spoil it, even though when my party didn't win. But we did our best to protect it collectively, holding hands together.
So that's what our first panelist talked about.
Yeah.
The electorates, providing security cover.
Yes, personally, leave the police out of it because with the places where they had that they brought POS to the field, and both police, everybody transfer was ongoing.
POS
yes,
to the field.
Yes.
For vote buying.
Yes. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. So it's all over. So, but we did also see that as an issue. Our issue was from the day one that please let nobody die. No matter what you want, let nobody die because you cannot bring back a life. Election can be redone. Election can be cancelled. You cannot say this person that is dead now, we want to cancel it, let him resurrect back. So that was our protection. So I think what we also need to do in future, I told you about people starting to vote. If the momentum that we carried out in the first election, they just gave a critical example, how they moved over 35 cars from Benin to Odua. And the second journey was 2 cars. Think of it that this time it was 45 cars. I'm sure he will not be complaining. Yeah. The momentum would not let even, yes, he didn't favor me. No. You cannot rig an election where people are many. It's impossible. But it can be rigged where people are few. So when they come and see, a Parliament, they go, no, we know they go, they say they'll walk away. Because they are not spirit.
They're human beings.
Yes, they'll walk away. But when they come and see, but 2 people just standing, they'll come. Good. You saw one video ongoing War 2. They were doing the counting. Somebody just came, collected the paper and ran away. But think of it that about 50, 60 people were standing there. There will be no space for the person to just walk in.
You can't escape it.
No. So our people got it wrong because the first election, issues like that didn't happen. And they also made sure, call the result here. So we must not shy away from the truth to say we are fed up. I cannot no longer say tomorrow I'm not an Edoma. Neither I'm no longer from Ibiwe because I will say election was not done rightly. I'm no longer in Nigeria. No, we are here. And we're going to get it right soon. We should also be thankful that election is getting better.
In spite of this shortcoming.
Yes, no, the truth must be told. The election is getting better. It was not like the way it was before because we have been in the process since ages and we know that this is a better one.
Okay, let me quickly get a point from you. I know we're limited by time. How do we change this perception of giving more attention to the presidential election and perhaps National Assembly election at the detriment of the governorship and state houses of assembly election, especially the state houses of assembly election? How do we change that perception?
The perception will be hard to change because the president of Nigeria is one of the strongest president in the world. Even the U.S. president, in terms of giving directive, compare it to the Nigerian president. The Nigerian president is too powerful. And that is the reason why people are concerned about the presidency. You know, once Nigeria president is the only president in the world that cannot be counted. Have you ever heard it in the history of Nigeria? Despite the misbehavior of any president, that the legislature will be able to summon courage to say, let's question him. In U.S., you can see legislators question their president. They will summon him to come and give a midterm report. But in Nigeria, we can't do that. And that's the reason why people focus on once we can get the presidency right, any other thing will follow. Since we have not been able to get it right, there is nothing you can do to the people. And there is nothing the people will also do. You know, and that's the reason why he was talking. I was smiling because he recognized that if we are to use marriage what happened with Edo compared to some state, you will give it to the governor of Edo State. And he demonstrated that humility and he believed that elections should go the way it's supposed to go. He did not show any level of conspiracy or desperation.
Not in Oredo.
You know, there was no desperation. If we just have a brief discussion outside. You told me in Oredo that Labour Party won.
In Oredo West. And the one that won in Oredo East, that already said it was won, we are hearing conclusive.
No, you're not the one to say it. I think that will say it. Yeah,
you know, I read on social media, I was seeing different results. But when I started releasing results, it was a different ballgame entirely.
Okay, so you shouldn't rely on social media.
No.
Yeah.
I believe he's also quoting from social media.
Okay.
I expect it to be more real and more factual to the things on ground.
Okay.
We don't have institutions. Our institutions are too weak. Because it's the president that determines the institutions. If our institutions are really working, to conduct an election is not a rocket science. To me, it's the easiest thing anybody can do. Why? Look at the volume of money that we invested in the election. Is that not enough for you to know that Nigeria is programmed not to work? Nigeria is programmed not to work. And it's quite very unfortunate. I was just telling him just now, I gave him over 20 reasons why Nigeria might not be able to work. Because the loyalty of the institution to the president and presidency is something else I have never seen in the history of the world. Okay. That security organization will be loyal to the president. They will be loyal to the party in power. How can the society work like that? You remember an issue that happened between the former president of the US, Barack Obama, and one sergeant as a police officer. They had an issue. And the Inspector General of Police in the United States, he called the president and said, we are not working for you. We are not loyal to you. We are loyal to the United States. And the Obamas go and apologize. He apologized. Can that one happen in Nigeria?
Okay, let me take a point from you. This semi-disparity in terms of commitment to the National Assembly election, presidential election, compared to governorship and state houses of assembly election, because it looks like the orientation that people have, the electorates have, this one is more important, this one is less important. But if we also have a state house of assembly that is a rubber stamp to the state executive, you know what eventually prevails. Let's get your take on this.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying Roy's discussion so well. The truth remains that why pursue the president when you know that if we get the House of Assembly right, we get the National Assembly right, the president is of no use. Why pursue one man leaving over 100 people on ground? Why not let us get our first 11 to represent us? So at the first 11, we've said they are loyal. We can also get people that will say, no, we are determined on this issue, that person up, they should go. Well, so think of it that we have used that momentum in pursuing that first one, and we are fagged out, we're gassed out, no. Now let's come back home, let's retrieve. This one, we're not going to Abuja. This one is there, he lives in the next house, let's check in. Oh, it's an accident. If we take Roy there, we know Roy will not be a rubber stamp. Let's support Roy. Let's look at party, don't let's look at size. We know him. Let's start looking for the best 11. That best 11, don't give them stress, let them win. And we know there's no way, because if you have it's worse off to have a rubber stamp as of Assembly and National Assembly. That is what gives them power. So it is better our people go back locally. Local government election is also coming now. Even though we know that controlling the local government election is like unserious, but let us also participate. We must not let politicians take it all. You must be in the system. Leader, let me shock you. Do you know that as a politician now, we now know that when people are more, leaders keep quiet. I've been in the game for a very long time, unlike before, where I will be the youngest in their midst, and decision will be taken. Maybe
you don't have an input.
No, they want to submit 3-4 names, and the one will say, no, that my lady friend that do cook very good food for me. Let him be presented that board. The other one will say, no, there's one of my sons that I don't like so much that disturbs me. Put him on this board. When they finish it, they will not tell you, come, you take this paper, go and photostat it and submit it.
That's your role.
That's your role. But on this one that, now, me, I'm also sitting with the leadership table, and you see the crowd of youth. You cannot even say, because you'll be scared that if you make a mistake, you cannot even leave. So, because why they participate, when we're not going, not here, this thing don't just change you. All these boys say, you go and go in meeting, don't they let us talk again for meeting. So, because why? They now know that the people are aware of what they'll be doing. So that is why they are so not scared to even bring out their money like before. But leaders invest on the election because it's their business. So
they are expecting returns.
Yeah, no, they no longer want to even invest
because they are not sure of the returns.
No, yeah, because they will just tell you they are all doing. You are no need again. So let these people still continue. I'm opening up a secret to them. Don't let them be weary. If they have pursued it with that zeal, they pursue the first election, this second election. That would have been the end of some political history of some leaders.
Okay.
I get it now. So they should never be scared. He just gave you a critical example. The first election, over 35 convoys. That's to say, about 100 persons came. Now, 2 people. So look at it now. That first election, there was no way it went against them. In that place, they stood. Because even seeing the 35 cars driving into ITV, even you want to say something, let's wait for these people because we don't know what their mission is. But 2 cars, whosoever is there. So that is, the zeal should continue. We should keep preaching that people should not be weary. Election, we must continue participating, provided do it peacefully, do it rightly. It is hard to rig where people are more.
All right.
It's
Ron,
very, very hard.
final word from you as we call it a wrap now.
Well, to me, this election, the only thing, the takeaway is that the dimension and the narrative change because of the obedient movement. You know, we must give it to the obedient.
Is that sustainable? Is it sustainable?
Whether sustainable or not, but there is already a foundation. It's just left for them to now build on it. There is still hope because the judiciary is there, you know. But you must give it, this election, you must give it on. Considering what happened, the process, you know. This is the first election you are hearing a governor say, if I win out, there will be a happy hour. People will have opportunity to be pepper soupy. People will have opportunity to be shehurizing. You know, to me, at time, people were coming with different dimensions because they are now aware there are persons who will question them. To me, this election was good, the mobilization was good, people were determined, but the ANEC, that's our hope at the finance.
All right.
You know?
Final word from you.
Yeah, my final word is simple. Just what I said, we should not be weary.
Okay.
We should keep participating. The first was not good, okay. Second was not good. We might get it the fourth. We might get it the fifth. If you keep quiet, was it not this? You heard people saying, obedient movement, they will so gas out, they will so gas out.
Until they're overwhelmed.
Then it was just that people, you know, say, please, oh, you cannot gas out, please forgive me. It's my election, please forgive me. So we must continue because they know it's not the people.
All
Unlike
right.
before, the people had no value.
That's our package today on the show, TMI Monday. The responsibility to change Nigeria is ours, collectively. And the people have made a bold statement with this election, but we must sustain the gains. Look away from all of the shortcomings that mar this election. They are distractions. We need to focus more on the gains of this election, which is the power that truly belongs to the people through their BBC, which of course they have expressed. If we sustain this tempo, I can tell you for sure that in the days to come, months to come, weeks to come, years to come, we'll get it right politically and we'll be back to El Dorado. That's my take-out point on TMI Monday. Thank you so much for staying with us. Big thanks to all our crew members for making the show a huge success.